Think of the most lucrative investments of the 21st century. You likely picture Silicon Valley juggernauts scaling global software monopolies. This tracks a $1,000 investment in Google's 2004 IPO, compared to the same investment in Domino's Pizza. Notice the flat line through the late 2000s for the pizza chain. Then look at the explosive upward curve. Domino's ultimately crushed the world's premier search engine. Generating elite financial returns does not require shipping advanced hardware or code. Total market dominance can be engineered through a highly publicized admission of structural failure. In 2010, research firm Brandkeys named Domino's the top overall pizza chain in the world. They possessed an unmatched operational infrastructure and technological stack. Domino's was the first in the industry to introduce mobile ordering, to gamify the user experience, and to allow customers to track orders in real time. Here is the paradox map of their 2010 standing. Notice the flawless operational metrics on the left. Now look at the glaring error on the right. When it came to actual taste, Domino's came in tied for last place with Chuck E. Cheese. CEO Patrick Doyle realized that the company had built its entire brand around reliable speed. They captured everyone who wanted fast pizza, completely alienating anyone who wanted a high-quality pie. This created a textbook case of negative brand equity. Negative brand equity occurs when a company's reputation is so damaged that attaching its name to a product actually decreases the product's perceived value. Internal blind taste test data confirmed this brutal reality. Consumers reported liking the exact same pizza significantly less if they were told it was from Domino's, rather than baked by a competitor. Superior logistics act strictly as a multiplier. When the core product is severely flawed, a highly efficient delivery network only scales a terrible reputation at maximum velocity. Confronted with this data, the standard corporate playbook dictates a quiet retreat. A typical executive team works behind closed doors to fix the recipe, while aggressively downplaying any bad press. The prevailing logic is simple. Explicitly admitting a severe product defect draws unwanted attention to the failure. Domino's entirely discarded this playbook. Instead of hiding the data, leadership actively sought out and broadcasted their most brutal customer reviews to the public. They launched a radical national advertising campaign featuring an uncensored video billboard broadcasting direct customer complaints directly into Times Square. Millions of television viewers watched ads featuring genuine, unvarnished quotes. Customers stated, "Microwave pizza is far superior. Worst excuse for pizza I've ever had," and described the crust as tasting exactly like cardboard. By weaponizing their own worst reviews, Domino's preempted consumer skepticism. They neutralized their critics' arguments by saying the worst possible things about themselves first. This strategy exploits a psychological phenomenon known as negative news bias. This is the well-documented human tendency to actively seek out and fixate on predominantly negative information. A standard corporate turnaround announcement is boring. A publicly traded brand dragging its own flagship product through the mud captivated the public, generating highly asymmetric market interest. Domino's captured this surge in attention by launching the Show Us Your Pizza campaign, pushing users to their tracker app to aggregate real-time, unsparing critiques of the food. To absorb the blame directly, CEO Patrick Doyle, along with key marketing managers and head chefs, appeared in these national ads to publicly promise to work days, nights, and weekends to fix the recipe. This established a highly effective data acquisition loop. Broadcasting brutal public feedback proved the company was actually listening, incentivizing thousands of new users to download the mobile app just to share their own opinions. This self-flagellation functioned as an aggressive, top-of-funnel customer acquisition engine that flooded their database with new users and vital market intelligence. Chief Marketing Officer Russell Weiner described the brutal honesty of the campaign strictly. "By saying what we said about the pizza, we blew up the bridge." That statement outlines a calculated forced alignment mechanism for the corporate leadership team. Publicly airing catastrophic failure on national television eliminates any option for a quiet retreat. If the upcoming product launch failed, the executives had zero cover. This intense, self-inflicted public pressure structurally mandated an absolute ground-up reinvention of the core recipe. Incremental tweaks were no longer an option. The final deliverable was a completely overhauled product, heavily marketed with extremely literal copy: new sauce, new crust, new cheese. Public vulnerability functions as a high-stakes risk management tool. It legally and culturally traps an organization into executing a successful turnaround. The strategic theory behind this campaign directly translated into hard, measurable financial outcomes. Look at this chart mapping their key performance indicators. Same-store sales growth sat relatively flat and then violently spikes upward by 10.4% between 2009 and 2010. This metric evaluates the revenue increase of existing retail locations. The secondary return operated as a massive data flywheel. Acknowledging weakness allowed them to broadcast feedback, driving app downloads to acquire data, ultimately surging sales and generating free publicity. This exact financial inflection point in 2010 sparked the staggering exponential growth curve that eventually allowed Domino stock to outpace Google's early investors. Radical transparency directly rewires the long-term financial trajectory of a stagnant asset. Many executives operate under the strict assumption that acknowledging failure will instantly trigger a loss of market respect from customers and shareholders. The reality dictates the exact opposite. In an era saturated with highly filtered corporate public relations, consumers actively reward leaders holding their ground and taking radical ownership of their flaws. The operational sequence is highly replicable. Admit the structural flaw, broadcast that flaw to your audience, capture the resulting data, and deliver the fix. True disruptive marketing rejects the illusion of perfection. It relies on weaponizing your own vulnerability to command the market's attention and structurally mandating excellence from within.